Everyone, this is Brittany Clues. I am here with week 2 and talking about Amy's images. So we're going to get right into it. We've got this amazing image of this big family at the beach. This is such a fun, classic beach setting. The jeans, the white, the pier. I love it. So it looks like you're shooting this with a Canon 60D, 55mm or 50mm 1.4, f3.2, ISO 500, 1/200 shutter speed. Those are great settings. 50mm is exactly what I would use to shoot a family like this. 3.2, that's, I know what a 50mm is in terms of how far back you are to take this. I feel like that's a really good, distance for you to be back to ensure sharpness. To be on the safe side, you could always push that up maybe as far as even 5.6. ISO 500, I think that's great. They're obviously under a pier. That's going to be casting some darkness. It kind of looks like it's a little bit overcast outside, so I think ISO 500 is great, and then 1/200 shutter speed. So what do you love about this image? You love the pier and the water in the background. I love it too. I think that just makes her such really pretty texture, and just I love the background setting. What do you dislike or have a question about? You never seem to get the sharpness that you want in your photos, especially ones that are not close up. Guess your shutter speed is probably too low. Aperture was too low. Is the pose okay for a family of 7? I have a hard time posing families. Well, 7 is a lot to pose. Let's just say that. So I think that for as many kids as there are, you did a bang out job. So you got to pat yourself on the back a little bit for that. The next thing is, there was another person who posted a family of 7. Be glad that you have everybody even looking at the photo. These are a lot of young kids. I mean, that is difficult. It's difficult for anybody. I would even challenge to say, is a professional and 100% comfortable with families. I shoot a ton of families, and if I got a family of 7, I'd probably start to sweat a little bit. So, yeah, this is a lot. So you be happy for this. You could have, I think, upped your ISO maybe just a tiny bit, and maybe increased your f-stop, meaning close it down just a little bit, to maybe go f4 or f5.6 to really get that sharpness. If you're still not getting the sharpness at that, then my guess is it's going to be camera shake, because the rule of the millimeter lens would hold true here. I think you may be able to be a little bit faster than you are here, but essentially you take the longest millimeter of your lens, in this case you're shooting with a prime, so 50mm, and you double it, and then you never want your shutter speed less than that. So essentially your millimeter, the lowest shutter speed you should go is 1/100th. Well, you're 100 over that, so you should be fine, but always sort of keep that in mind. And if you're looking at this 1/200 and you've got a family this size and you feel like it's not sharp, then you may need to overexpose a couple of ticks. Maybe try to even open up your aperture if that's going to give you some more light. You can tweak your exposure compensation to try to give you a little bit more light. The best thing is just you trying to get that light into that filter, so you're getting that sharpness and you're not slowing your shutter down. In terms of your edit, I think it's great. I love the pillars here. I love the way you've cropped it. Him playing with his jeans just cracks me up. It's so cute. Dad looks really genuinely happy. I'm always really impressed when I see dads that really look happy and not, please get me out of this place as fast as possible. Mom looks so happy. I love it. I think that you've done a great job with this image. So good job. Pat yourself on the back. Here's the next one. 60D, 50mm, f2, ISO 100, 320. So lots of things I love about this image. I love the color. I love the texture. I love the rule of thirds. I love the environmental framing. I love the leading lines. You have so many things about this image that I think are great. The only thing is it's a little blue and it's a little underexposed. So what you love about this image is you love her eyes. You feel the focus is pretty good, which is something you really struggle with. Is the white writing really distracting? This is one of my favorite pictures so far because I think it really nailed it. That's not really the feedback I got. Is this a good pose? Yeah, I mean, I think this is awesome. I can clearly tell it's some kind of graffiti wall that she's against. I think it's great. She's angled up in a really nice way. You've got a really nice, pretty strong jawline. You've got no hair that's crazy and a mess. Other than this one tiny little wrinkle right here, her clothing is nice and straight. I feel like she's genuinely smiling. So I really like this. I mean, I think that you did a great job. So I was going to go back and say it's a little underexposed and it's a little blue. So you're shooting with a Canon, so I don't know exactly how to do this on a Canon because mine's a Nikon, but I would have added amber into your shooting. And in Nikon, the way that you do this is you hold down your white balance button, and if you scroll the front dial, at least with the D700, it's the front dial. If you scroll it, maybe it's the back dial. Don't quote me on that, but it's one of the dials. Scroll it one way, you're going to add blue, like from blue 1 all the way up to blue 6. If you scroll it the other way, you're going to add amber. So if you're in a really like dark, overcast day and you're, up against some of this stuff that's kind of cool and cold, you're going to want to add amber into your camera, and that's going to warm up your image. I'd say, amber 3, amber 4. Now with a Canon, there is a way to do it, but it is slightly more complicated. I have Canon friends that have researched this for me and have shown me that it can be done. You have to go into your manual and find basically where your color histogram is, and then you add it that way. So, or not histogram, it's like a color quad, and it looks like a 4-quadrant chart, and you basically use your cursor on the back to scroll it into the amber area. So look that up in your manual or online, and you'll see how to add amber into your camera. Obviously, it looks like with your edit that you did try to add a little yellow sunlight. I think that that's something you could have done in camera and had to save yourself this step. I don't know if it looks 100% natural. It does look like her skin looks almost just a little like yellow. I don't know. I think maybe trying to find more of like a sunlight layer in here would be really good. Maybe adding a little bit more white into the photo, grabbing your curves and bringing your curves up to add that brightness would be a little bit better, because her hair just, I feel like it's a little yellow. But also you've got all this great color back here. Use your sponge tool or your hue saturation tool and hit this and this awesome little green patch down there and just really make that pop, and her pink right here, and you could really make that just an absolute popping knockout image. But great job. All right, final image. So you're definitely a color person. You like how this turned out best in black and white. Love the hair. What do you dislike or have a question about? Now that you see this picture on Better Monitor, you can tell that the picture is really grainy and out of focus. Even though the picture is really grainy, you like it a lot. How would it be if the grain focused this shoot? How would it be if there wasn't much grain focus issues? I'm a little confused by your question. Sorry. Does this pose work? What about the crop? Okay, let's just talk about straight out of the camera first of all. Straight out of the camera, love this, like you're using your environment to naturally frame the person. Looks like you've got like a wind machine on her. Look at this hair that's blowing back. She looks super confident, kind of serious, a little stoic. I like that. I like it when not everybody has to be, super, super smiley. I think that's great. Exposure, I think you really nailed exposure. She looks really well lit. Nothing looks blown, not two shadows. I think that's great. The only thing I would advise against, but once I see her edit, it's not even in, so it doesn't really bother me. I always avoid the soles, taking photos of the soles of shoes. Try to just ever point that toe down. They're just usually like dirty and grimy and have sales stickers on the bottom of them, and they're just not really pleasing to look at, and sometimes I think are more of an eyesore and distraction. But I really like her pose in this, and I like how you can see her arm. So I see what you've done here with the crop. If her foot would have been pointing down, I wish she would have kept all this. It looks like she's sitting in some like ruin areas. Like, I love it. I think that's part of what makes the photograph. She kind of looks a little, like kind of rough, and not rough, but like, I don't know, just like look at her little face. I mean, it's not like a super smiley, I'm in a field. So I think that this adds a lot of cool emotion into the photo. So I'd consider leaving that in. Even with her foot in, leave it in. And then just for next time, no feet. So no insides of hands and no bottoms of feet. And then in terms of this, yeah, it is a little bit dark. So maybe you're pretty closed down on your aperture. So you only got one person. She's senior. She's not going to be moving around a lot. I'd get this thing to, F2.2 and really try to brace yourself and work on taking a breath and holding it as you take the photo. And that's really going to help your camera shake issues too. So hope that makes sense. Great images this week. Love seeing them. Great work. And I can't wait to see what you come out with next week. Thanks so much. Bye.